How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are looking at Ride Stock or Lordstown Motors today because I bought it for the first time this week. So we're going to go into that. I'm going to show you why I bought it, some things that are coming up that I think are going to be really interesting for the stock, and why the new president is going to cause the stock to go up in value. So if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can use the link down below to Webull. There you can get 3 free stocks as long as you deposit $100 or more. I actually just got a $140 stock just the other day, so definitely check it out. You could get something really expensive up to $1,600. Otherwise, it just supports the channel and you do get 3 stocks, so definitely check that out. So Diamond Peak Holdings is Lordstown Motors. They just went through about a week to 2 weeks ago and confirmed their merger. They went through and changed the stock and everything like that. So they were a SPAC that has now turned a public company. Their market cap is right around $2.9 billion. So it is a pretty big company for a company that hasn't, produced and sold a lot of vehicles yet. But they have $2 billion in pre-orders, so this is something they've said before. They have $2 billion in pre-orders, and they have some powerful backers. So I did buy a couple shares of them. I won't tell you exactly how much, but it was a smaller position. It was something that I felt comfortable with, but I am dipping my toe in the water with Diamond Peak Holdings. I did this earlier this week with NIO too, so you can check that out at a different time, but that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to get into these stocks because I feel like Diamond Peak is pretty cheap compared to where it was before. Their 52-week high was $32. Now they're sitting around $17.50. Now, I will say if you do want to see exactly what I'm selling and what I'm buying, you can check out my link down there to Patreon. In there, you can get access to my Discord server. I tell you exactly what I buy, how much I buy, and when I buy it. And if you do sign up for the top tier, you can see that you can actually get on short calls with me 2 times a month for 30 minutes. And it's just like a small group call, so you can definitely check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, let's look a little bit more here. So Lordstown Motors unveiled their prototype for their fully electric pickup truck a little while ago. So back in June, their endurance pickup truck. Now, there is some good catalysts that are coming up. So first of all, because of this SPAC merger, they were able to get, you can see here, $675 million in proceeds that will be more than enough to fund the initial production of the pickup truck. Now, like I said, they do have $2 billion in pre-orders, so this is a pretty significant amount. They're going to have to be able to get this up and running. Now, they most likely won't have to actually go through with $2 billion worth of vehicles. That is 40,000 pickup trucks, but they probably will have to make a significant number, so that money, the $675 million, definitely helps out. Now, they do have some really important backers, some really important partners. So if you look here, they have GM, who has committed to invest $75 million in Lordstown. They also are using the old GM plant. You can also see major investors are BlackRock, Fidelity, and Wellington. The other major investor is Workhorse, so they own 10% of the company. So they do have some powerful names behind them. When you consider those are the 3 main or 4 main companies that are investing in them. Also, Workhorse has a pretty big position in the company, and ARK Invest holds Workhorse. So it's interesting to see all the different people that hold this company and are interested in it doing well. You can see here they also have a 6.2 million square foot facility, and it's capable of producing 600,000 vehicles a year. Now, this is a very significant amount. Obviously, that's much more than we need right now. They've talked about how they aren't looking to rent out any other spaces in the facility to other companies, but they might be willing to help Workhorse too. So Workhorse is up for the new USPS contract, which could be pretty significant, and they might be able to get some revenue from Workhorse. Now, the thing that I wanted to talk about today, which is quite interesting, with our new presidential candidate who looks like he's going to get the presidency. So I'm recording this Friday. It might change by the time you see it. You can see here that he announced a cash for clunkers type program. So this is something that was instituted back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and it gives incentives for and rebates for people to replace gasoline-powered vehicles with electric vehicles. Now, this is really good for all EV. I think that is a major reason that we've seen the market go up so much, the EV market this week. And that is because so many people feel very confident in Biden in the Democratic Party for pushing EV, getting out of gasoline. And Lordstown is obviously one of the front runners for this. They are probably gonna hopefully get their production up and running, be able to get their vehicles out to market and have that first mover advantage. Now, if they start to do this, I think a lot of people will be able to transition and want to transition to EV, especially with the fact that Biden has announced also, and this is something that I've thought about covering, that he wants to get 500,000 charging stations in the US in the next, I believe it's 5 years, and then 1 million in 10 years. That is huge because the leader in these charging stations is ChargePoint or SBE. They're going to merge with SBE, but ChargePoint has about 57,000 locations, and they're the leader, and he wants 500,000. So there are going to be a lot more charging stations when you consider that is 10,000 charging stations per state on average. So if they're not only making it easier for people to charge up, but they're also giving tax incentives, those are the two major things that I hear people complain about is, well, if I have to travel over the range, so if I have to travel 300 miles and I only make it 250 because it's cold out or something like that, that's going to suck. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy a car that I can only go 240 miles. That's what they say. If there are more charging stations, and it's just like a gas station, right? No one's worried about them running out of gas because they can only make it 300 miles on a tank of gas. It's just that you fill up somewhere. If we can get our charging stations to be considered similar to gas stations, and if we are also able to actually give tax incentives, so $3,000 to $5,000, I believe, is what they gave before. If they're able to give you 10% back on your new electric vehicle, I think a lot of people will be interested in it. So this is something that I think is really important that some people are realizing, and you can see the EV market has gone up a lot this week. If we just look at ride stock in general, since last Friday, it is up 34%. I think a lot of people realize this, but I think a lot of people also don't realize this because we're not close to as high up as we were before, even just a few weeks ago. So I could definitely see Diamond Peak going up pretty significantly, especially if they come out and they're actually able to produce a decent number of these pre-orders and actually able to get the vehicle to market, especially if they have good reviews, if they're actually able to earn some revenue, because they are sitting at about $3 billion market cap. If you guys are curious on some other stocks I'm buying, you can definitely join the Patreon. If you want some free stocks, you can check out the link down below to get to Webull and get 3 free stocks worth up to $1,600 each. So definitely check that out. Otherwise, if you guys want to see what else I'm buying, I did a video just the other day about NIO and why I'm buying NIO. So you can definitely check that out. And I'm also doing another video down here about SPCE. So you should definitely check that out too. Thank you guys, and I will see you here in a second in these videos. Bye.